Is it time for Adrien Broner to retire? Would you guys think, man? It's Enzo, EMGM Sports. Let's go. Yeah, man, that's the question everyone's asking now. What's next for Broner? What's next? What's he gonna do next? He's not the most active fight. I think his last fight was back in June 2023. Yeah, that was his last fight. He won that fight. But he hasn't been active enough in the last couple of years. Yeah, Adrien Broner, man, in this fight against Blair, he was knocked down in the second round, lost his tooth, mouth guard came off, you know what I mean? But he was all right. He was able to continue, but Blair was just laying off shots and stuff. So, yeah, man, Adrien Broner, again, man, is the same problem that he's had in his other fights. Like, he just doesn't let his hands go, do you know what I mean? Even his corner kept telling him, yo, you need to let your hands go. You need to let your hands go. But he just wasn't letting his hands go. And you can tell as a fighter that you can tell that Adrien Broner is not a fighter that's been active. Do you know what I mean? He hasn't got the endurance. He hasn't just got the cardio there. Doesn't let his shots go. So you can just tell, man. You can just tell. And also, as much as you can say about Adrien Broner, he did. You know what? He did well. He finished the fight strong. The 10th round was a strong round for him. Do you know what I mean? He landed a good right hand, and do you know what I mean? But overall, I don't think he did enough to win that fight. After the fight, Adrien Broner was complaining about he thought he won that fight, but most people watching that fight didn't have him winning that fight. And also Adrien Broner complained about news just came out that he went to hospital, he had a few injuries, fractures or something like that, shoulder injuries or something was going on that he knew about prior to the fight. But he still decided to fight. Do you know what I mean? You have to you have to respect him for that. He didn't want to cancel the fight. He went through the fight. He still gave it his best. But unfortunately, these days, the best of Adrien Broner is not enough to even beat. Like you can't even beat the subpar fighters. Do you know what I mean? I don't know much about Blair Cobbs, but his name doesn't really ring bells, you know what I mean? He's not one of the elite fighters, you know what I mean, that are making noise at the moment. So for Adrien Broner, my question is, where does it go from here? Do you know what I mean? I was a fan of Adrien Broner. Like when he first started, when his name was buzzing, when he was in the lower divisions and he was coming up, and I liked it. He had a good style, and he used to let his hands go. That's one thing he doesn't do now. But back then, like let's say we're going 7-8 years ago, Adrien Broner was letting his hands go, man. Do you know what I mean? He had the speed and everything. But maybe that was because he was in the lower divisions, isn't he? As soon as he started coming up, when he started facing the Paul Malignaggi, he struggled in that fight. Me personally, against Paul Malignaggi, I thought he lost that fight, man. I think Paul Malignaggi won that fight. But because of where both fighters were, the stages in their career, I think hence why Broner took that win. But yeah, man, ever since Adrien Broner lost to Maidana, never been the same, man. He's just never been the same. Like that beating he took from Marcos Maidana, he's just never recovered from that beating, because before that there was a sort of arrogance from Adrien Broner. Do you know what I mean? There was this arrogance. He was undefeated, so he thought he can be everyone. And also he was hanging around with Mayweather, like Mayweather's little brother. He was trying to even mimic and try and fight with that Mayweather style, but it just never really suited him. Do you know what I mean? And against Maidana, who's he's a tough fighter, man. He got found out, he got beat badly in that fight. And ever since then, we've just never seen Adrien Broner just let his hands go, man. Do you know what I mean? I think he lost to Manny Pacquiao, Sean Paul. He had a few losses after that. Just never let his hands go. But also he's had a lot of off the ring, outside the ring issues as well. Do you know what I mean? Like money problems, whatever, drugs, gun charges, women, all the other problems that comes with sports and entertainment. You know what I mean? It's like that's the thing about these boxing and sports in general. Like if you don't have the same discipline that you put in your craft in the ring, whether it's basketball, football, whatever you do, yeah. If you don't apply the same discipline that you apply in your sport, you don't apply it in your actual life outside of the sport, it's gonna eventually catch up to you. Do you know what I mean? It's gonna eventually catch up to you. That's why you have to respect fighters like Mayweather. Do you know what I mean? He's still got his money. He never really got into that much trouble. He's had these issues as well, but not to the extent of like the Adrien Broner level where he actually started to affect his performances in a ring. Do you know what I mean? Mayweather he's always been solid in a ring, took care of business in a ring. Do you know what I mean? But with Adrien Broner, he just went all wrong, man. I don't know if like the money came too early. I don't know if it was a case of just being around the wrong people, because that counts as well. Like, do you know what I mean? Especially a lot of you young athletes, young fighters in boxing coming up or whatever you're doing, like whatever your craft is, like you need to have great discipline in in and off the ring. Do you know what I mean? In the ring and out of the ring, you need to apply the same discipline. Do you know what I mean? The type of people that you have around you can definitely derail your career. Do you know what I mean? Especially if they're giving you wrong advice, etc., etc. So you need to be like a strong individual, not to bow to peer pressure, etc. Because once you make that money, you know everything comes your way. The cars, the bling, the women, everything comes. You know what I mean? The glamour. And sometimes that can distract you from your performances in the ring or whatever other craft that you're doing. And that's why it's so vital, man. You have to stay focused. You have to know your goal and whatever you want to achieve. You have to just keep your eye on that tunnel vision and just go for that. Don't let other things distract you. And I think that's what happened to Adrien Broner, man. I think that's what happened to Adrien Broner. He was talented, man. He was talented. I reckon he could have had a good career, a decent career. You know what I mean? I'm not saying the levels of the Mayweather or Manny Pacquiao, like a Terence Crawford or anything like that, but I reckon he could have done real well. Do you know what I mean? He could have been like a Hall of Famer type of boxer. Do you know what I mean? He could have made that type of status, but yeah, man, his career just derailed. Bad decisions after bad decisions, hanging out with the wrong type of crowd and stuff like that just messed him up. And do you know what I mean? But for me personally, there's nothing really more that he can do. Like if he's losing to Blair Combs, like no offense to like Blair Combs, like Cobbs, Blair Cobbs, that's his name. No offense to the brother, but I've never really heard of him like that. You know what I mean? His name doesn't really ring bells. So if Adrien Broner is losing to fighters like that, where does he go next? There's really nowhere else to go. So I just hope he's all right. I hope he's all right. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, he's facing demons and stuff like that outside of the ring. But I just hope that he's got good people around him now that can actually sit him down and have a chat with him, speak to him and say to him, yo, listen, you know what I mean? There's life after boxing. Do you know what I mean? Boxing is a short career, 10 years, 15 years, whatever it is. After that, you got the rest of your life to live. Do you know what I mean? And that's what Adrien Broner needs to think about. He needs to think about the next 20 years of his life, the next chapter of his life. Do you know what I mean? How does he want that part to look like? Do you know what I mean? You know, right now his health is good. It looks like it's good. Everything is intact up there. But the more fight he keeps having, because he needs to make money or he's got debts to pay, so he feels like he has to keep fighting. You know, the more damage he's doing to his body, you know, his head's taking damage, and that could have a long-term effect, you know what I mean, with his health in the future, especially if the love of the game, the love of fighting has left you. That's the thing. A lot of these boxers, like, you know, they're fighting men and stuff, and sometimes the love has gone. Like, that the love is just not there for the sport. Do you know what I mean? But they're doing it for other reasons. Could be financial, could be any other factors that plays into them making decisions to continue fighting, other than just the love of the game, the love of the art. Once that's gone, I believe, me personally, hang up the gloves, man. Hang up the gloves. Plan your careers. You know what I mean? Someone like Adrien Broner, Adrien Broner, I think he's like he speaks well. Do you know what I mean? He talks a good game. I reckon he can go into like broadcasting or something. Do you know what I mean? Like work with these TV networks and do some commentating or something. There's definitely a space for there's a space for Adrien Broner in entertainment. Do you know what I mean? He can do films, whatever. He can do. There's a lot of things he can do like to make money. So, but when it comes to the boxing, man, I just feel like, yeah, nah, man, just give it up, man. Give it up. He's had a decent career. He's a full-time. He's a what is it? He's a 4-weight division champion. Yeah, that's a great achievement. How many fighters can say that? Not many fighters can say they've been a 4-weight division champion. Adrien Broner can say that. Do you know what I mean? So he's in that list. He's in there with some great fighters. So he can take a lot from that, yeah, and just chill out, man. Just chill out, just leave it out. But at the end of the day, that's his decision to make. That's his decision to make, yeah. So he knows what he's gonna do next. But me personally, as a fighting fan, and also as someone that cares about fighters' well-being and everything else, I think personally you should hang it up, retire, and just go get into other things, man. Get into coaching. You know what I mean? Get into coaching, teach the next generation. Do you know what I mean? The art of boxing, you know, show them, be a mentor to some of them as well. Show them where the places where you went wrong. Why not give them game back and show them the better path? Do you know what I mean? You can do that. And also Adrien Broner, he can do exhibition fights. Do you know what I mean? I think he'll be good at that. He can fight them YouTubers and make millions. His name is big enough. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of YouTubers out there that will fight Adrien Broner in an exhibition fight. Why not? Why not get into that? Do you know what I mean? It's less risk, more reward. Do you know what I mean? Because if he tries to carry on with a professional fighting, he's fighting less ranked opponents, even some fighters that are not even ranked. They have no name yet, even though Broner has a name, but who's really looking out for Broner anymore? Adrien Broner, who's really looking out for him? And do you know what I mean? How many pay-per-views can he sell right now at this stage? Especially now he's lost to Blair Cobbs. Do you know what I mean? Where else you go? Do you know what I mean? What's gonna happen? He's gonna start fighting in the town halls and all that. Come on. That's not Adrien Broner. Do you know what I mean? Look, you gave a very spirited fight. Do you know what I mean? You were knocked down, lost a tooth, but you had injuries. You claim you had the injuries. You had to go hospital, but you finished the fight strong. You lost. I say take it. You know, take it as a positive. Take it as a positive. You wasn't knocked out, whatever. You gave it all your best, but your best right now is just not good enough. Even like at the lower level, it's just not working out anymore. So yeah, that was my take, man. That was my fight recap. Adrien Broner versus Blair Cobbs. Adrien Broner lost via 10-round unanimous decision. Yeah, for me, that's the end of Adrien Broner, but only he knows that. Do you know what I mean? I advise him, stop it, just leave it out, go do something else, brother. But he's gonna make that decision himself. Let me know what you think, man. What do you think? Should Adrien Broner retire? You know what I mean? I think he should start fighting YouTubers and all these guys there and go make your millions there, man. Just leave the professional game alone. Your hunger is clearly not there anymore. So, guys, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell. Do you know what I mean? This is your boy Enzo, EMGM Sports. Until next time, peace.